Let's get ready to rumble!
Hey guys, how's it going? We are going to start getting ready to rumble here in the shop tonight. We still got a few months till season gets here. It's just now December 10th. I know what day it is for a change because tomorrow's my birthday. I'm not going to mention how old I'm going to be because I'm going to be pretty darn old. But I'm going to start working on putting some things together here tonight. So it's real cold outside. I haven't got anything better to do, nothing much on TV anyway. So I'm going to kind of go through a couple things as I start doing the work on this car. So I just wanted to show you that as you can see here, I have the front suspension assemblies off. You can see the steering rack that we already cleaned and rebuilt. And as I go through the car, what I normally do is I strip it totally down, and I've taken the rear assemblies off. I've already started putting one back on over there. But as I go through these, I try to keep each corner assembly together. So as an example, here is my right front assembly. So you can see I have my upper and lower control arms. I have my tie rod that goes into the steering rack. My lower shock mount is on here on this model car, and my sway bar link is on here. I also have my hub and everything on here. I haven't taken any of it apart yet. So I keep each of these together as an assembly. You can see here, let me find it. You can see here, I've got the other side is totally assembled as well. So I'm just going to do one corner at a time. So I'm going to take this corner apart and lay out all the pieces here. And let me change my camera position and get it ready, and we'll get right into it. Let's speed up this boring part. You can see now that I have the control arm assembly down into some sub-assemblies. So this is my upper control arm. You can see I still have the Heim on it. I still have the bushings in it. So what I'll do next is I'll start with this upper one. I'll replace this Heim joint. I'll pop these bushings out, and I will polish this part and clean it up, make sure everything's free, put the bushings back in. I'll put a new Heim joint in. Since this is the beginning of the season, I usually like to have a new one in there as well. Then the next piece, I have them all laid out here in the order that I took them off, is my tie rod. I'm going to do the same thing. Replace the Heim joints, polish it up a little bit. My lower control arm, I'm going to take the bushings out, take it apart, replace the Heim, polish it, make sure the holes are free for the pin to go through. And then my spindle assembly, my hub, I'm going to take it apart, take the bearings out, clean them, check for any roughness of the bearing. If I do feel any roughness, I'm going to replace the bearing and just make sure everything is smooth. Then once I get that all done, I'll put this whole assembly back together and put it on the car here on the front. Now, whenever I put it on the car, I want to make sure that my pins that go through the holes here that support the control arms are free, that I don't have any binding. One thing that I forgot to mention that I do whenever I have the car apart and have everything off of it is I like to wax the frame, polish it up. This car is actually powder coated. Some people like powder coat, some don't. This is the first one that I've had that I've powder coated. I do kind of like it. But whenever I've got all the parts off of it, I check it for any bends, breaks, cracks, anything like that. So once I do all that, then start putting these assemblies back together, getting them all cleaned up, getting them back on the car. And in future videos, we will track the progress, and you guys can see how far along I get on them. So thanks for tuning in again. Stay tuned. We are going to have a quarter scale spotlight episode coming up here in just a second. I want to thank all of you for watching this video. If you like it, click like down below. Make sure that you subscribe to my channel here on YouTube so that you can be updated and won't miss anything. And tell all your friends about it. Maybe share it to some RC pages that aren't quarter scale, some 10th scale pages, and get some other people to come over, maybe get some more interest in quarter scale. Hopefully whenever the season gets started and I can get some better videos at the track of some cars actually running, we'll have a little more to show those guys. But until then, stay tuned for the quarter scale spotlight, and keep the triggers pulled and keep racing. So our quarter scale spotlight this week, Mr. Richard Coffey, owner operator of TNT Cars. They manufacture and support TNT race cars, as well as their brand new model, the LT3. So I asked Richard, how did he get into quarter scale, especially owning a company that builds quarter scale cars? And he told me that his son talked him into going to Clover to watch a race and check out the quarter scale cars back in 2010. And Richard said that when they got there and he saw them run, he just couldn't believe how accurate they reflected a full-size race car. He was just amazed with how the quarter scale cars ran. So they got interested in quarter scale at that point and tinkered around with it pretty well. And then he said in 2016, he purchased TNT from Terry Ray. And he said at that point, quarter scale became a part of their everyday life, as I can well imagine. Then they developed the LT3 car and started running it at the beginning of the 2019 season. And he said he has just now caught up on his orders that he's had for that car. So he said if you own a previous version of the TNT car, don't worry. They still totally support the older TNT cars as well as the new LT3. You can get all the parts and everything for those. They have total support for those. So the LT3, I know, has been winning a lot of races since it's been out this year. It's sweet looking cars. You can tell by some of the pictures that I've been cycling through here. Richard said that the best way to contact him for a car or parts or any kind of questions that you have on anything with the TNT cars is to call him direct. And his phone number is 828-838-2391. And I did clear it with him to put his phone number out here on this video, so don't worry about that. But he did say that that was the best way to contact him. So a big thanks goes out to Richard Coffey and TNT Cars for helping support us racers and helping us be able to play with our big toys like we all love to do. So hats off to him for the quarter scale spotlight this time. Next video, I will be going to the PRI show, Performance Retailers Industry Show, this week. So I hope to do some video, maybe some pictures and stuff from there, have it in the next video, probably maybe next weekend. If not, it'll be the early part of next week, and we'll do a new quarter scale spotlight then. So be sure to tune in then. And until then, keep the triggers pulled and keep racing.